Hello everybody, Marty McConnell, the Off-Grid Gecko here. I'll be talking about truck kit today a little bit because I've got a flat tire and, well, a low tire. I've been struggling with this tire for like 3 months. So I slimed it 3 months ago, filled it up like with air, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, and I think it's time to just go ahead and put the spare on and get on with that. But in the meantime, I'll show you my truck kit, talk about what I need to add to this. Probably needs to be removed because this has all my junk in it. Now, I don't know where my 2-ton jack is, and I'm not going to go digging for it right now. But let's just take a look at this kit while I got it open. Alrighty, so first and foremost, jumper cables. Jumper cables are a thing. Always have a pair. These are just cheap little 10 gauge. These things have gotten prohibitively expensive lately, so I don't know what the deal is with that. It just seems like they cost more than they should. I've got a little ice scraper in here. Now, you can get the big fancy ones if you want. I found that these little cheap plastic deals end up lasting longer and work better than some of the big fancy ones. I've got 2 garbage bags in here. I really need to do a video on those. So these ones are in this kit for a couple reasons. Number one, they can make a poncho. Number two, if I need to take a greasy part into the auto parts store or whatever and I want to lug it and I don't want to get everything that I touch greasy, just wrap this around it, you're good to go. Got some rope, it comes in handy sometimes. I've got one of these big 2-inch straps and a ratchet for it. I used to keep a full kit in here for the trailer, but I really don't anymore. I took the little bit of kit, so this is my like pry bar tire changing kit from the truck, and went ahead and put it in this box just so everything's together. Those little strappies I already talked about. I've got a couple towels, come in really handy for wiping off grease or just drying your hands or whatever. I've got a little thing of cordage in here that's just been in here forever. I don't know. There's a roll of toilet paper. If you've never needed to use a roll of toilet paper on the road, good for you. I actually have, and it's not a good position to be in if you don't have any. So in here I've got a little plastic box that I buy screws in. It's been repurposed for this. So I've got some little nitrile gloves down in the bottom. I've got some of my handy dandy work gloves because they're amazing. Tire pressure thing, and it's going to be filled with like spare parts like fuses and little light bulbs and stuff like that. Anything small can go in here, that way it doesn't get lost and scattered in the mix. And of course a little Strippo lighter in there, just for emergencies. So that's the kit. It's not super fancy, it's not some kind of crazy super expensive amount of kit that I think you need to buy. It's just something to have in your truck for emergencies. Probably the jumper cables I would consider to be the most important thing in here, along with knowing where your spare stuff is. So I've got a spare tire in there. I've got everything I need to change a spare tire. I've got a toolbox in there too that's got all kinds of random tools, so I don't have to double that up with the rest of this truck kit, like, because the toolbox can go with me in other trucks, so it's sort of mobile. I don't even keep it in the house anymore, just keep it in the truck. I'm going to be outside if I'm working on something anyway, so there's no point. Some things I would like to add to this is, number one, a can of green slime. I know that's going to piss off all you auto mechanics and tire changers out there in the world, but the stuff is just handy as hell, and in a pinch it will get the job done. Unfortunately, that stuff isn't cheap either. I think it's like $15 a can or something ridiculous, but you know, it's worth it if you can go like an extra couple days or a week without changing the tire. They recommend just put it in and drive straight to the tire shop, but let's face it, we ain't all got funds for that. Also, antifreeze. I try to keep at least 1 jug pre-mixed, so that's in here. And I found out why they put those annoying little plastic things on here, because these jugs freaking leak. So I've got antifreeze like scattered all over my bed. It's not fun. And that's about it. I mean, I'm sure I'll come up with a couple things. Like I said, bulbs and fuses. I really need to throw some light bulbs in here. That way I have them, and if a light goes out, I can just swap it out right there on the fly. I don't have to drive somewhere to get it, because that's a big hassle. You know, that adds 30-40 minutes onto your, your problem that you're already having. You're already delayed. So delaying yourself another hour so that you can go pick up a light bulb and change it, that's just, that's horrible. That's a horrible thing. Especially if it happens when you're on the road and you don't know your way around, or if you're in the middle of nowhere, like driving through southern Tennessee, and you don't know where you're going to find a place to buy a light bulb. So I've got this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and change this tire. But the only other things I can think of, I mean, there's certain things I just keep in here. I keep a beater axe, usually a Fisker's, in the back seat, just in case I run across a log on the trail. I also have a chainsaw that's filled up with gas and oil. I don't keep the gasoline for it in here anymore. I just make sure it's kind of topped off and ready to go. And I use it frequently enough that I don't have to worry about the gas separating in there or anything crazy like that. Plus all the bumps, like, kind of keep it mixed up. Yeah, that's about it. Things specific to your situation. So another thing you might want to have is like blankets, or some cold weather clothing. If you have extra cold weather gear, instead of dropping it off at Goodwill, just put it in a little tote and stick it in the back of your truck or underneath the seat or somewhere in your rig, to where you'll have access to it in an emergency. Those little Mylar blankets, I don't know if I'm going to toss one of those in here or not. Truck's pretty good shelter on its own, so I think blankets and stuff, the Mylar blankets, kind of just tactical overkill, in my opinion, for a truck kit. Probably have, I've got at least one in my regular backpack kit that rides along with me, so covered on that front too. Same thing with first aid. I've got first aid in my backpack, so I don't keep a designated truck first aid kit, but that's something you might want to consider if you don't have a backpack. All these things like this. You'll notice there's no big knives, there's no weapons, there's no firearms, none of that fancy stuff for off-grid survival. This is truck survival, okay? So you're stranded somewhere in your truck, your go-to mission is going to be to keep warm, keep dry, signal for help, usually call somebody on your cell phone, and or call a tow truck or whatever, or flag somebody down on the road. Another use for those white towels is you can hang one out of your window, and people will know that you're stranded, and maybe somebody will be inclined to pull over and help you. Yeah, and just be ready to go if you have to bug out to get out of your truck and walk to town. You want to make that as comfortable as possible. So warm boots, warm clothes, maybe a set of coveralls, heavy jacket, just whatever you need for the particular time of year and environment. That's all I have to say on that. Truck kits are just a good idea. It's just a good thing to have. And this car kit as well, You can also have road flares and or one of those little triangle signs. I definitely recommend getting the triangle sign over the road flares. But road flares do serve a good purpose, and it's better to have them than not have them. But to this day, I've never actually used a road flare for everything, even though I used to carry a kit that included some. Yeah, that's about all I can think of off the top of my head. If you've got extra suggestions for a car kit, drop them in a comment below. And I'm going to go ahead and get this tire changed. So this is Gecko signing off, and I will see you all later, hopefully. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.